Hello everyone, this is Mike with Real Dead, and today we're checking out at the Mad Monster Expo a Q&A with a Terrifier 2 cast. Not all of them are in here, but a couple of them are. You had Wesley Halloway, Elliot Fullam, and the main actress herself, Lauren LaVera. But they're in this Q&A, and it's only the audio because they would not allow video in here because of the actor strike. Even though this is an independent film, they still didn't want us to video. Thank you guys. Please like and subscribe.
Give a big Mad Monster Expo welcome to Lauren LaVera, Elliot Fullam, and Wesley Halloway. Well, thank you all three for joining us here this weekend and taking part in Mad Monster Expo. And part of this Q&A, which we can actually talk about your movie, so we're excited about that. So let's just jump right in. I have some questions, and we have some audience questions out there as well too. But let's just begin with, what was, before you even auditioned for Terrifier 2, how familiar were you with Terrifier? And what was your experience watching it for the first time, if you were familiar with it?
I actually was a huge fan of Terrifier before I even auditioned for Terrifier 2, so I knew what I was getting myself into. I grew up watching horror. I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses was the first horror movie I ever watched. So I am a horror nerd, and I love Terrifier.
Very cool.
My parents watched the movie and they were big fans. And Terrifier, and when I got the audition, we raced to do it, and that introduced me to horror and made me love horror movies.
I hadn't watched Terrifier, and I really wish I had before I auditioned. But I did watch it the day that Damien told me I got the part. I was like, oh, I guess I should watch this movie, and I was like, holy shit. But I mean, obviously, I'm happy I did it, and I get to do these things and meet you beautiful people now. So I'm very grateful.
Very cool. Now, what was the audition process like for each of you?
Well, for me, it was 4 auditions. My dad actually saw the audition on Actors Access. Like, Terrifier, Elliot. I was like, oh, wow. So it started with a self-tape, and then I got a call back, and that's when I first met Lauren. It was kind of like a chemistry callback audition, and then I didn't hear back for weeks. I'm like, I guess I didn't get it. I thought I did a good job. And then I got a screen test self-tape, where I was literally just screaming. That was all I was doing. And then my very final audition, the most nervous I was in my entire life, it was at the producer's house. And it worked well. And Lauren was there, and she was helping me out. They did some surprise lines and stuff, and she would take me aside and help me, and like we would go over the scenes and stuff. So she was already being a big sis before we even started filming.
We saw the audition, and my parents were like, you gotta do this one. And so I did a self-tape of me eating cereal. And yeah, it worked.
It really was just like any other audition. I got it from my agent, and he was like, yeah, this is the first one kind of has a cult following, and I didn't have time to watch the first one, which is why I continued not to watch it, because I was like, well, maybe if I watch it, it'll like skew my perception of it. They're obviously liking what I'm doing because they keep calling me back. And my final audition was your second audition, the chemistry read I had with Elliot, and Damien told me that day, which never happens. He was just like, it was funny because he was like, so what do you think of this kid Elliot? Like, do you think? And I was like, I'm not even cast, why are you asking me? I was like, you should cast him, he's great. And he was like, oh, you got the part, by the way. And I was like, oh, dope. Love that. All right, let's get started, I guess.
Now we've had both Damien and also David here several times over the last few years. What was it like working with Damien as each of you as actors? What was that collaboration process like as actor, director, and just in general? What was it like working with them?
Honestly, it's definitely an experience. Damien has such a twisted, genius mind, and he clearly has a vision for his movies, and he's an incredible director. David was definitely very fun working with him because, I mean, he's Art the Clown. And while we're filming, he's this gruesome killer clown that doesn't even speak, and then immediately when it's cut, right, in between scenes, he's just David talking about fart jokes and stuff, all of the full makeup and everything. So it was, for me, I loved being on set, working with David and Damien, and of course, Lauren here.
Damien is so creative and so much fun. It was really a pleasure working with him and having him direct me. David, he's so much fun. He's silly and serious, and we could like play games together. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree with these guys. I was really fortunate working with Damien because I am crazy when it comes to my craft, and I would like text him at midnight, like, what do you think of this idea? Like, what do you think? And he was so receptive. He was like, yeah, give it to me all, I love it. And yeah, I love working with Damien. We're still very close now. Like, we're constantly DMing each other and just talking about like medieval torture techniques and if you should with that. And he's a strange guy, and I love him. Dave is I mean, I'm sure most of you have met Dave. He's incredible. He's just so, he knows how to manipulate his body in like the weirdest ways, and he's so effortlessly funny all the time. So I feel really fortunate to be working with these crazy dudes.
How long was the filming schedule like on Terrifier 2? How much time did you each work on the film?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. But I do know that they're in between when COVID hit, that definitely pushed a lot of stuff back. But Damien had more time to work on his practical effects and kind of review what he was doing. A couple months, right?
It was a full year for me, and I was promised like 2 months, and they just kept bringing us back because Damien just wanted to keep adding, and of course COVID did stop us for a couple months, but I started October 2019 and wrapped up October 2020. It was a lot of work.
And you know, being one of the productions to kind of first be back in during that whole time with COVID, with all the lockdowns and everything, how did that impact the making of the film, and also if it did in any way how you portrayed your characters even?
I think honestly it worked in our favor because Damien really took that time to recuperate, to look at everything we've done, and he upped his game when he had the time to. He was like, actually we can have this. I think the bedroom scene got even more crazy because of COVID. And the same thing with the ending scene. That changed completely. I don't know if y'all know the story, but originally, Dave, Art the Clown was supposed to come out of Victoria Hayes' head. And of course, Malignant happened, and Damien was like, oh shit, we can't do Malignant did it way better, and he was like, okay, we got to scrap this entirely. And then, obviously, if you've seen the movie, hopefully this isn't spoilers, you find out that instead, she gives birth to his head. So, and I think that's even more sick and fun and funny, and I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for COVID and pushing everything back.
Now of course, Terrifier 2, Terrifier didn't get a theatrical release until recently. Actually, just last month it got to be in theaters for the first time with a really cool 4K remaster. But Terrifier 2 got a theatrical release for its initial, and it broke records even. What was your first experience watching it with an audience?
It was actually truly a beautiful experience, you know, to be filming on set and to see the whole finished product. Of course, you're there on set, you know what the scenes are, how things play out, but to see it on the big screen is an experience that I will never ever forget. And it was fun, you know, watching the audience members and seeing how they react to certain scenes. And a couple of showings I saw, they would like cheer or they would like laugh at some of the Art the Clowns. He's always putting the glasses and stuff. It was truly beautiful.
I saw the movie for the first time during the premiere, and it was great. I loved it. It was amazing, and I got to sit with my casting buddies. It was great.
Yeah, I was also at the premiere and I sat right next to Damien, and it's funny because obviously, like I mentioned, Damien and I are very close, so he was sending me clips as he was editing, so I've been seeing it since I started, and just like, even though I had already seen it, like seeing it all together with people laughing and cheering and going crazy, like I would look and I'm like, holy shit, we fucking did that, and but then when I saw it with my friend, which was a mistake, she is usually really like calm when she goes to movies, but she was insane when she saw it. She was like, "That's you! Oh my god!" And I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" I didn't want people to know I was there. But yeah, I will never bring her to one of my movies again.
Now, what were you all thinking when that first night it came out and it did really well, but it kept growing and growing. Now, of course, the first movie already had this built-in this audience that just loved it and appreciated it more and more with each viewing. But then when the second one came out, no one was expecting the reaction that it got, an even bigger reaction and even more love. What were each of you thinking as you were hearing how well this movie was doing, how well it was being received?
I honestly, since filming, I had high expectations for the movie as a horror fan, and as a Terrifier fan, I was geeking out while filming. So I was like, this movie, people are gonna love this, especially if they love Terrifier. So once it went to theaters, I got very, very excited, and then it exceeded my expectations. I mean, Stephen King talking about it, that's like so cool. Mike Flanagan talking about it.
Kevin Smith.
Yes, Kevin Smith. It was truly a whirlwind, and I appreciate you all, and I love you all.
Well, I want to open the audience questions here in just a minute, but before I do, was there anything that was filmed in the movie that, with any of you, that you wish would have been kept in, but for whatever reason did not make it into the final cut?
I'm trying to think. For me, there was one scene where I was playing video games, and she walks in, and it's just, Jonathan, come down, dinner's ready. But that's the only scene I can remember that was that wasn't in.
Yeah, that is true, and I remember that being a long night too, because like we were so guys, we would film crazy amount of hours. So like by the time, especially this scene, we were all just fucking exhausted, and we did it so many times. And the fact that it didn't make it in the film, we're like, oh, Jesus, that was for nothing. But no, I really think Damien cultivated this film in the way that I expected. There were some scenes that I had with friends, and I was like, I didn't necessarily need that. I mean, I was happy to see the action, and I think he really trimmed it. It's still very long, but he trimmed it in a way that was still entertaining, and it kept the momentum going.
It kept that action.
Yeah, totally.
That's cool. All right, let's open up some audience questions. So again, raise your hand up nice and high so we can see you, and we'll give you a call. Right here, I think you have a hat. Is that a hat? Yeah. Or a hoodie?
Headband.
Headband.
Hi, so I know you guys got around to watching the first Terrifier. I actually watched All Hallows Eve the other night while that was still on TV. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I saw Terrifier first before I saw All Hallows Eve, but yes, I have. That's cool.
I have seen it. I think I was at my grandma's house and I was just looking through stuff and I just saw All Hallows Eve and I watched most of it, so.
I just recently got into it. One of my friends did. She's a Rob Zombie fan, and she got me actually into the series, and I'm glad she did. I actually wound up watching the whole series backwards, from the second first, and then All Hallows Eve. So.
You can really see Damien's growth, I think. Yeah. I mean, I think All Hallows Eve is great, but like he truly listens to his fans, and he listens to critiques, and he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder about it. He's like, all right, yeah, I can improve in this area, and you can see, and you have the fun experience of seeing it backwards. You're like, oh yeah, I can see.
That's what I like to have going that mindset. Are you going out to?
Totally, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I think All Hallows Eve is a lot of fun. I love Damien's work.
Thank you so much.
Next question out there. Oh, right behind you. Yeah.
Hey guys, for each one of you, What was your single most challenging day on set, and also what was the most mentally challenging day? Physically challenging and mentally challenging.
For me, the most challenging thing overall was the very last day I was on set because I just didn't want it to end, and I loved being on set. I loved seeing Damien do his thing. I loved seeing Lauren do her thing, and it was the most simple scene ever. And it actually was kind of hard for no reason, but it was me running down the stairs when I was running out of the house. The stairs were like extra icy or whatever, so I was like keeping my balance, making sure I don't slip and fall into like an embarrassing take or something. So that was definitely a very challenging day because I didn't want to end. You know, I was with my Terrifier family.
I was on set for one day, and but I guess the most challenging part was playing dead, like just sitting there, going, just. And it was also the best day because I got to be a part of Terrifier. So.
Yeah, that day was so fun, and we were that was the Clown Cafe, the dream scene. We were expecting that to be so hard, and that day went so smoothly with all the crazy shit that happens in that dream. Like, it was the easiest day on set. And like Elliot said, some of the most simple things are some of the most challenging scenes. Like in the house we were filming at, there was this noise that would keep going off, and we couldn't control it. So we were having like an argument in his bedroom. I don't know if you remember that scene, but like we had to stop and keep that energy up and try to pick that momentum up again. It was a nightmare. I hate that house. But other than that, I think a lot of the most challenging days were the most rewarding days. Like a lot of the stuff we did together at the end of the film were so challenging and exhausting. We were on set for criminally long hours. But it was so rewarding in the end to see like us use our exhaustion and our frustration from the day. Like you can see it on our face because that's what we were really feeling in those moments. So it was challenging, but again, really rewarding because it turned out to like work.
Yeah, and that energy from those last scenes, especially being that, as you're saying, long hours, I feel like it definitely added.
Totally.
Without a doubt.
How to use it, absolutely.
Another question, right over here.
Okay, so my question is for all of you. Obviously, Damien is like the master of practical effects. You know, he's like our era's Tom Savini, which is really cool. And like one thing I feel like with practical effects, it kind of gives this level of reality to the situation that you're in. You're not like pretending to be afraid of a tennis ball that's going to get CGI'd later. So was there a moment for you guys where it didn't feel like you were acting because you were so terrified of the situation?
Honestly, for me, since I've been saying horror fan, I was kind of just geeking out the entire time. Like literally until it's like the same feeling if you see Art the Clown at a photo op and the full makeup and everything. It's like, oh my gosh. But David does do a great job when he starts getting quiet and maybe it's a couple takes in or something. He's got that creep factor to him without a doubt. And we said Damien's the Tom Savini of our generation. If he heard you say that, he would be nerding out because that's one of his favorites.
Oh, sorry. Oh, what did you say?
Oh, go ahead. I don't think I can.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Is there any talk of any of you being in part 3?
Yes, I will be in Terrifier 3. I'm just simply so grateful to have been part of this, and this is my very first film, my very first movie, so I'll never take this for granted. Damien is one of my favorite people, and I feel like anything that he does, any project that he does, if he wants me to be a part of it, I am without a doubt down. Anytime, any place, anywhere. So yes, I will be in Terrifier 3.
I don't know. But I second that. I would do anything, and I'm so grateful to be a part of that movie. And it introduced me to horror, so so great.
Yeah, I honestly don't know yet either. I'd like to be in it, and Damien has expressed that he'd like me in it. So I guess we'll have to see. It's just a matter of getting like logistics down, like the strike and everything. It's just not real yet until there's like, you know, contract in place. Then I can say yes, I'm in it. But I want to be in it. So I would like these guys are saying. Damien and I have spoken about working in like other projects as well. Like I would love to continue to work with him. I want to be the Bruce Campbell to his Evil Dead. You know, like that's what I want to be for him. So yeah.
All right, another question out here in the audience. Raise your hand nice and high so we can see you.
I think one of the neatest things about Art the Clown is that he's not explained. But if you guys were to give an origin story of Art, what would it be?
Oh, damn. That's a crazy thing. I like what you're saying, you know, it's cool that there's a mystery with that. But I feel like if there's anyone that could even possibly come up with an origin story, it's the man himself, Damien, because I'm sure there'll be some stuff that's more explained in the next movie. If I were to really just create my own one, I think I would need some time.
Yeah. Genius doesn't just pop.
Yeah. Sometimes, in Damien's case, but I feel like Art the Clown, I would need to have a more crafted, intricate story to get to that level of insane.
Story. No, I got nothing.
So I'm in the unfortunate, not so unfortunate position that I kind of know Art's story because, like I said, Damien and I are very close, and he kind of tells me some things, his ideas. So at the risk of saying any of that out loud, I'm just going to say I like the mystique and let's keep it that way. But I can tell you that that won't be the case. You'll probably be learning more about Art. Yeah.
Another question. Everyone in the back, I have a question that we can see back there.
So I was curious, as actors, what you look for most in a screenplay and also in a director as well.
For me, as an actor, one of the main things that I love is just somebody that has a very clear vision. Damien has a very clear vision of what he wants. He knows what's going to be happening. I mean, he has a story all completely laid out, which is kind of what a screenplay is. But I also love just simply real lines. Like there's some lines that I've read for auditions or whatever, which are cool for that type, but there's some like Terrifier too. For me, it felt like I was just myself. That was fun. I'm a horror nerd, you know. Jonathan is searching up all these theories about Art the Clown, and he loves records, and I love records. So if there's something I can relate to, it makes the acting even more fun. But it's always fun to go into a challenge and be something that completely is not me at the same time. So if you are creating a screenplay or something, I'd suggest nobody else on this planet has your mind, no one else has your brain, no one is you, so create whatever is from the heart, whatever you feel like is right.
Something I would like in a screenplay is, I like playing different characters. I also like a screenplay that I understand and can connect with, and yeah, I just like to. I like to play characters, and I can also like playing characters that relate to me, and
Yeah, I'm definitely going to second what these guys have said. Especially like as an actor, there might be some compelling story, but if it doesn't like connect with you, because you hear stories all the time of like A-list actors who almost got a part, like a famous part that another actor did, and like I see comments of people like, oh, they missed out, it wasn't for them. Like, I think it was Bryan Cranston that said something like, he used this analogy that like, oh, if someone drops a wallet and you pick it up and the person who owns it's like, no, that's my wallet. And he's like, oh yeah, this is your wallet. It's not, it was never meant for you. It's someone else's. But I agree, if I can understand the story, because more often than not, like you may not understand what story they're trying to tell, and that's the most important important thing to be able to connect. And also, as long as it's compelling for me, if it speaks to me and my experience. But yeah. Oh, and as well, collaborative director. And Damien was that. Like, he was so open for me changing lines and stuff like that, because sometimes a line might be written and it literally just can't come out of your mouth because you don't speak that way. So as long as the director's like willing to, like, obviously has a vision, you can work with them, but it's like, you know what, let's try a couple takes where you just do what feels naturally to you. And that's a gift. Collaboration is a gift, because we're all working to make this one thing. And if you're not collaborative, it's gonna fall to shit.
And I think we have time for one or two more questions. Anyone have another one they'd like to ask? Maybe on this side, you get some people over here. Just raise your hand. Okay, right here towards the front of the hat.
I love your outfit. It looks so cool.
Yeah, that's cute.
My question is for you, Lauren. My absolute favorite part of the entire film was you building your cosplay. Do you do that in real life?
I'm so sorry. I can tell that you do, because you look incredible. I have immense respect for cosplayers, because I understand that a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of stress, a lot of yourself goes into it. I just don't have the patience. But I did a lot of research for it, and I understand that a lot of people, a lot of cosplayers see themselves and can relate to Sienna, and I am so grateful for that, because one of my favorite parts about these cons is seeing the dope cosplayers. Like, I'm just, like, I was taking a video of, what was the vamp mommy from Resident, was it Resident? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. She was on stilts. She was mother. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I love seeing this stuff. So maybe one day, but I just don't have time. I respect it so much, though, so much.
And let's get one more question out here. Yeah, we'll go right here in the front.
So okay. So if you've seen Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2, what would you pick as your grossest kill scene out of each movie?
I'm gonna say the bedroom scene, which is Terrifier 2. I have to represent. I'm in the movie.
Yeah.
But honestly, as a fan, the bedroom scene really got you. And it just kept going and going and going. And right when you think it's over, it just kept going and going and going. But also, one detail that isn't really said much is those noises that Damien added to those scenes. Like, it's so that any scene, any movie that can make me actually wince my face is true art, and no one better than Art the Clown to bestow that madness upon me.
I think the best kill, or most gross part was, the bedroom scene. And in Terrifier 1, the scene where Art cuts.
Yes, I agree with both. Terrifier 1, obviously the hacksaw scene, I mean, as a woman, I was like, oh, God. Damien's mind. And in the second one, I mean, yes, I love the bedroom scene, and it might be the grossest, but I think my favorite detail about the second one, and I've said this before, is what's in Brooke's kill, when Art throws the acid at her face. I don't know if y'all know this, but they use condoms for the bubbling. This was low budget, guys. They use condoms like the bubbling, and Damien's on like the corner, like blowing into a tube, which is making the bubbling. So like it's literally condoms on her face, and I was just mind blown. I was like, oh my God, this is how an innovative mind works. When you have that little money, you need to use condoms.
There's a will, there's a way.
Well, I would like to thank you all three for joining us here this weekend and for sharing your stories today. And you're going to be back. You actually have photo ops today too.
Yes.
Today and tomorrow. So if you don't already have a photo op ticket, go ahead and get yourself one. So it should be a lot of fun. But thank you all three so much. And everyone, please give a big round of applause.